I do the sound design, and I sort of do create the sounds for all the fantastical elements in the show. So dragons, White Walkers, warging, all that fun stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you create a voice and a sound effect where nobody knows how it sounds, and it's basically up to you to create it?
Isn't that awesome? Nobody can compare it to the real. No, it's actually a really interesting thing to have a part in creating the voice of a mythical creature, and I'm endlessly inspired by the work of my colleagues. By the time I get the show, the visual effects and the beauty that I have to look at is incredibly inspiring. So, and I use a lot of animal sounds in the creation of the dragons, and I was explaining to someone else, it's like, what's kind of cool about it is I'm using, some of the animal sounds I use are from animals that are now becoming extinct to use, because I did some recording, for instance, at White Oak in Florida this year, and they have rhinos, so I'm going to be using that this year. But if you think about it, it's very cool to use animals that are on the verge of extinction to create animals that don't exist. So
that's very cool. Yeah. So can you give us a hint on which animals are part of the sound of the dragons? I mean, what did you base them on?
Well, at this point, it's like a mosaic, okay? So, if you think of animals, you think, when you think of an animal, a dog barks, a lion roars, right? But it's all the other beautiful little sounds that they make in between that are really evocative and emotive, right? So the dragons are created from an amalgamation of so many little parts that are all kind of formed together to sound like they come out of one throat, And then on top of that, they've had to grow from here to way up, and which is unique in the history because nobody's had to really deal with that. And so it's a very organic process, and a lot of it has to do with looking at their physicality, finding stuff that fits, and finding emotive sounds from animals that will help convey the gorgeous stuff that they put in the eyes of the dragon. All that, just the subtle facial movements and stuff. I work on all that to try and bring it all out. So.
Can you just give us an impression on when is your part coming into play in the whole creation process? I mean, do you need to create this? Do you get the order? We need this and that sound effect, and then, or do you see the particular scenes? And just to give us an impression, if somebody is not familiar with at which point of the work progress your work comes in.
Well, in Game of Thrones, it's a little bit different than anything I've worked on, and part of it is that Dan and David, who are the creators of the show, give everyone incredible artistic license and room to soar, room to try stuff out. So it's a very different experience than I've had on most shows. So yeah, I get the show, I look at it, and I pretty much know what I need to do, because it's about telling the story and supporting the story, and it's all there. I just have to dig and find and pull stuff forward with the sounds that I'm doing, and just make dragons feel like they're real. No big deal.
So last question for the last season. I'm not asking about anything about the last season, but how hard it is to let go of a show which is so deeply to your heart and where you put in so much work. I mean, the last season's coming up, so how does that feel to say goodbye to a show?
It's bittersweet for sure, but I think they're very smart to leave on a high note. No one wants a show to overstay its welcome, and some do. I'm very proud of them at their decision, and you know what? I'll look forward to the next thing, But yeah, I'll be sad. It's such an extraordinary journey, and of course, we're all very sad to see it end.